Few games that I've played have had a story and world as beautiful and well constructed as God of War from 2018. So this is my first God of War game, and I knew all like little to nothing about the characters, about Kratos, the main character, the world, his motivations, his backstory, and I still enjoyed every single second of it. Like the story is so well done, and it actually talks a little, very little about the past of Kratos. Like this is pretty much like a reboot of the franchise, like a soft reboot. So it goes from Greek mythology into Norse mythology, and I really enjoy Norse mythology. It's like one of my favorite things to study on my free time. And I loved like the way all these elements were introduced and all these gods were, talked about and, interweaved into the story. So I'm gonna review the game and talk a little bit about the things that I loved and some of the things I saw, like some of the things I thought were interesting about the game and some things I didn't like. So, anyways, let's talk about God of War. So God of War is essentially the story of Kratos. The whole franchise pretty much revolves around his story, his motivations, and pretty much like showcasing how much of a powerful being he is. But in this game, we see a secondary character named Atreus, which is his son. So before the story, we don't get to see this in the game, and well, light spoilers because it pretty much happens in the beginning. But Atreus' mother, Kratos' wife, she dies, and as her final wish, she instructed them to take her ashes to the highest point of the Nine Realms. And as they set up upon this journey, they discover a lot of things about the world and themselves, and basically their role in this beautiful and amazing universe. So Atreus is a character that I really related to. He's basically a kid who's learning his way through the world, like trying to connect with his father, who's a little bit distant, and he is. So Kratos also tries to learn from him and also from the new things about the world, because Kratos is new to this whole Norse mythology business, so he's still learning about how everything relates to each other, how gods are treating in this world, because Kratos is a god, and he's trying to come to terms with the role gods play in this new universe and try to teach Atreus along the way. And this is one of the aspects that I enjoy the most about the game is the writing and the way the characters relate to each other. So basically the writing is amazing. Like every single piece of dialogue is so fun to listen to. The conversations you have, like walking around the world between Atreus, Kratos, and later on in the game, Mimir, who is like a head who Kratos has in his hip. And he starts like talking and, telling jokes and stuff. And it's super fun to see these characters interact with each other, because it really brings the best parts of each other. Because like Kratos is like super serious, super stoic, determined, like super strong. He doesn't really try to show much emotions, but there's some funny moments where he basically like opens up a little, even involuntarily. And Atreus is like completely opposite. He is super open, super fun, super curious about the world, and just seeing these interactions were some of the best moments in the whole game. So about the gameplay, the gameplay is pretty good. It takes a while to get used to. That is the biggest criticism about the game, because it's not a perfect game. It's pretty good, but like in the beginning, the gameplay is like it feels kind of tedious. Like you start going through the world, and you discover like these chests which you open, and you gather like 10 different items, and you have no idea what they're for. You're like, oh, I found like a piece of iron. Oh, I found like a different piece of iron. I found like a crystal of whatever. I found like the gem of improving your weapon by zero point 0.5 points or whatever you want to call it. And I thought it was like confusing, and I was kind of, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a tedious game to get through. But in the end, like you get used to it pretty fast, and once you get used to it, it becomes so fun. Like you get like a lot of freedom with the combat abilities and the skills and everything. You start playing out with the Leviathan axe, which is a super fun weapon to use. And later on, well, it's a little bit of spoilers. Later on, you get the original Chaos Blades from the first games, and they were so fun to use. And honestly, this game is just so fun to play with. And about like the gameplay is just it's pretty good. Eventually, traveling around the world is just super fun to do. Every single realm is so different from each other. speaking about the realms and locations and all that stuff, this game is super fun to photograph. So right now I'm showing like all the pictures I took in my journey through God of War. I enjoyed it so much. Like there's so much opportunity to capture these beautiful landscapes and like these beautiful things that you get to see in the game. Each realm is like brings out the best of Norse mythology, they're super well like interpretations too. Like in the for example, like the Alfheim, the realm with the dark elves and stuff. It's super original. Like the elves have like wings. They're kind of like insects, and you fight them, and it's so fun to see like all the work and love the developers put into the game. So yeah, I thought it was a great game, and also like a lot of people talk about this, but the one shot throughout the game is completely revolutionary, something I've never seen before in a video game, and honestly, it was so groundbreaking, and I really want to praise that. So, anyways, I don't have much else to point out about God of War. Like the writing is great, the gameplay is great, pretty much everything is great. A little bit confusing in the beginning, but that's pretty much it. Like I can't wait for the sequel. I'm definitely gonna buy it. And well, yeah. So as a final score, I'm gonna give God of War a 90 out of 100. It's absolutely beautiful, and if you have the chance, you should play it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So see you guys. Yeah, bye. See